Hey guys, Tomo again. I'm back with another Reebok Rebel short. And today, really excited. We've got Gavin from Rebel Elite Fitness and PJ from Reebok. And we're just going to have a little discussion with the two big bosses of the companies that bring a lot to our community and are partnering to bring Rebel Renegade Games to you a little bit differently and really level up for the community. So welcome guys. Thank you so much for being with me here today. Really excited to have you here and get some insights from you guys about both of you have been involved in this community for a really long time. And I think it's always interesting to chat and remember where we've come from and where we are today and how the two brands that you guys operate have been involved and been part of it and are still around today. Because, I mean, it's important that our community has these brands to support and keep us going. So, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Thomas. Thanks for having us.
Gav, should we start with you? Do you want to tell us a little bit about where your CrossFit journey started and how that fits in? And, I mean, today it's Rebel Elite Fitness, REEBOK CrossFit Josie, Rebel Renegade Games. It's a lot of stuff. So do you want to tell us where that all started?
Yeah, it's been a fun journey. It began, I think, in 2008. I started training with a guy called Donnie Dupree, who's the original OG. He had a mercenary friend come back from somewhere. If he told us, he'd have to kill us. But, and he introduced Donnie to CrossFit. And we were training and we were looking for something new and something different. And he came back and we found, as a reference from him, CrossFit.com. And at that point, they were publishing, a daily workout. We didn't know most of the movements and we didn't have the gear to do some of the movements, but we fiddled and we played with it. And eventually, Donnie became the first level 1 accredited coach in South Africa, and he went over and I think was actually accredited by Greg Glassman in Manchester. And we together opened the first CrossFit box in South Africa. In those days, it was called Rebel CrossFit Africa. We had grand aspirations as to what we were going to do with this. And then, it's kind of just meandered on from there. Rebel Elite Fitness actually happened by accident. We couldn't get gear. In fact, we hosted the first regional using gear that was completely unsuited for CrossFit. They were metal plates, barbells that weren't designed to be dumped. And the amount of equipment that we broke, but it was still a successful event. We have some video footage of it somewhere, and we should probably try and post it and have a look at it. But we couldn't get gear. So I was involved in a business that was importing a lot of product. So we went shopping and found bumpers and barbells and kettlebells and dumbbells and stuff in China and started putting it in a container when it came out. And equipped the place, and then we, other people came and discovered CrossFit and asked where we got the gear from. So we did a favor for them, and then it was another favor, and eventually, we decided that listen, this is becoming onerous. We better start making some money out of this process. So we created Rebel Elite Fitness, which now exists as, I think, the premium supplier of functional fitness gear in South Africa. Supporting the CrossFit community, which is an integral part of what our perspective is about. We've had fun along the way.
I think it's such an interesting story when we talk about it, and it's almost gone full circle. So, I mean, you hosted the first ever regional in Africa, and now it's come full circle, and Rebel Elite Fitness essentially has ownership of the now CrossFit semi-final that is still sending athletes to the games.
Yeah.
I think that speaks volumes about the community and how important it is. And You know, it's not a one and done. It's not a fly by night. It's been many, many years.
Absolutely. And the fact that we're still here, you know, still slaving away, working out every morning, you know, trying to keep in shape. Yeah, as I say, it's been a fun journey.
Very cool. And PJ, I mean, you represent Reebok here in Africa, a brand that probably played such a huge point in the turning point of CrossFit, and took it almost from a everyday exercise movement and the fundamentals into a global phenomenon. I mean, I can remember a time where people thought like CrossFit was Reebok.
Correct. Yeah.
That was it. Tell us a little bit about what it's like to be involved in that big machine and how that has driven the brand and what sort of CrossFit means to Reebok.
Yeah, I think for the brand, it's been fundamental in driving credibility in training and authenticating us as a sport brand, number one, but more so in the training space, in the functional fitness space. And you're right, the relationship is, or the two brands are synonymous with each other in the space. Still today, people think the old Reebok Delta logo is a CrossFit logo. You know, that's how strong the partnership and the association's been. So from a brand perspective, it's been incredible. You know, the community and the brand have shared values. So the relationship's a lot easier, it's a lot more natural. And as a sport, it's authenticated us in this space. So yeah, glad to be back partnering with the CrossFit community in South Africa and in Africa. We really believe it's where we need to be in the training space. It is the pinnacle of training in our minds. And we see ourselves as the pinnacle product provider in this space. So the relationship is a match made in training heaven, I would say.
Yeah, the two OGs back, you know, back involved. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, it almost feels like a coming together of two brands that have been around with I feel like I want to say that the end goal of these brands is about community and supporting community and growing and building community, which is something we often don't see anymore.
Yeah.
And I think it's so important to have that synergy and that relationship, because it makes things easy when the goal is bigger than selling a pair of shoes or a barbell. It's about ensuring the safety and security of a community and an environment, and making sure it's still growing and still successful, and that gym owners can keep their doors open and that people can show up and train in the right kit to make them better athletes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's the intention of the Renegade Games, you know, is to provide that vehicle and that incentive for everybody in the community, you know, to potentially, you know, aspire to, and being able to send athletes to the games is imperative to the, you know, to the process.
Yeah, I think it really is so exciting to have these two brands come together. It gives, I think, the Renegade Games even more credibility. It allows us to do some more cool stuff with that event. It's coming to Sandton Convention Center this year, which is really exciting. I think it opens it up to the broader community. It's a much easier access to come and see the spectacle and support the athletes. And, you know, we're excited to put on a showcase. Can you guys tell us a little bit about how that plays into the brands and the message and what you guys are looking for out of that?
Yeah, maybe if I can weigh in there, Gavin, I think from a Reebok perspective, you know, we've probably lost a little bit of ground in the last 5 years since the global partnership with CrossFit had ended. You know, not hanging our hat on a property in the training space definitely has impacted the commercial return. So I watched you guys from afar last year, and I was super impressed with the showcase you put on there. And immediately I thought to myself, you know, we need to go back to what's authenticated us in the training space. We see you as the pinnacle, or CrossFit as the pinnacle training sort of program, and the Rebel Elite Games is certainly the pinnacle event. So in saying that, it was a natural sort of move for me to get back into the space, reconnect with the community, shared values, and a community that I guess is driving each other forward, but also drives the brand forward in a very, very compelling way.
Yeah. You mentioned, Tommy, that we've moved it, from Vanderbilt to the Sandton Convention Centre. And that's kind of, I think, displaying, the mentality and the attitude that we bring to the Renegade Games, in that we're trying to make it bigger and better every year. We're trying to make it a more inclusive event for the community that, that exists in South Africa. And it's important that we do that. Our well-being and livelihood depends on the community, beyond just, the gym equipment. I'm talking about from a turning up on a Monday morning to see your buddies at a training facility, trying to make it the best hour of your day, but having a goal, being the CrossFit Open firstly, semi-finals, the games. And if we don't have that incentive, everybody loses interest in, what the main outcome is that we're all aiming for. And we need to make sure that this vehicle is running smoothly and efficiently and, spectacularly. And we need partners, like Reebok, who help us achieve that. And I think that the Renegade Games is a significant, what would you call it, a significant event that feeds this community. And as I say, it assists us in the well-being of all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is a big part, and we need to drive that hype in our community. It's impressive to come and watch athletes, see what they can do, and I think having the Renegade Games as a CrossFit semi-final is so cool, because the three of us can be like really involved in this event and involved in the running of the event and making it happen. But in a couple of weeks' time, we're going to show up our affiliate and take part in the event, because the CrossFit Open is the beginning stages of the CrossFit semi-final and the CrossFit Games. And I think that's what's so unique about this community. I think it's also really a unique part about the REEBOK Rebel Renegade Games and the event that we're running, is that it's not a corporate standing on the outside going, well, this is what we're doing and it's going to get us coverage and it's going to, we're doing it from a place of community and love, because all of us show up and our affiliate every day and do the work out of the day. It's part of who we are. It's part of what we've done for so many years. And I think that's so important. And we often say that the Renegade Games is by the community, for the community. And I think that's really important.
Absolutely. I mean, how many events do you know of that people who actually participate in the particular movements are actually doing and organizing and, being involved in the event? Right from volunteers to athletes to, to us.
Yeah. Maybe if we stay on the community a little bit and the people within the community, I think, what we love about it as a brand is it's you versus you. It's me versus me, It's about self-improvement, self-betterment, pushing boundaries, not competing. I mean, the competitions happen, no doubt.
Yeah.
But really, at the end of the day, it's about individual pushing their bodies, pushing their boundaries, and reaching new limits to be better versions of themselves and be better than they were yesterday. And that's what we love about it. I think inevitably you'll find in a CrossFit community or an affiliate or a box, you'll find the best mothers, the best fathers, the best sons, the best employees, the best entrepreneurs, because it's a community that drives each other forward and expects that sort of push from each other. And so that's what we love about it. It's always exciting to see in the morning at the end of a WOD, all the RX athletes around the scaled athlete, cheering them on and pushing them and taking them to another dimension. and just seeing the joy that the community brings around helping people improve themselves.
CrossFit is a really special community, and I don't think you find it anywhere else, because it doesn't matter where you come from, what you do, what your job title is. When we show up on that morning, we train 7:30, and when you show up to train at 7:30, everyone's the same, everyone's throwing down, everyone's dying. It doesn't matter who you are, what car you drive, or what you're going to go do after this. It's just a bunch of people getting together with a singular goal to be better, to be fitter, and everyone's doing it for a different reason.
Correct.
But it's something that just brings everyone together.
Yeah.
And I think it's what's so cool about, the Open's probably one of my favorite times, because everyone in the community gets together to train. So we throwing down we do it at REF CrossFit Josie on a Friday night, but it's the masters athletes, and it's 6 a.m. and 5 a.m. and the 4:30 guys that you don't normally train with, and everyone's getting together and everyone's nervous and talking about the same thing.
So I can just pick up on what you said there. I think in terms of the evolution of CrossFit over the period I've been doing it, not as long as you, Gavin. I think I started this 2013, before Reebok, in fact. And I think just to where it is now, I think it's become a lot more inclusive. The early days, it was quite an intimidating environment. But I see a lot more younger people participating now, and a lot more older people participating. So from that perspective, I think it's great that it's become more accessible for people. I think thanks to the work you guys are doing, the guys at Deep South, the guys at Motley, making it more sort of inclusive and inviting. Because I think early on it was quite, boyky environment.
Yeah, absolutely. It was almost an underground movement in the early days.
Yeah.
And it has evolved into a proper, vehicle that is driving an outcome, in the fitness environment in the world, which is world class.
Yeah.
And it's producing world class athletes, and world class events. Yeah. And that's imperative. And I encourage people to really get involved in the Open and the other events, and particularly our event. Come and watch it. Come and see these superstars performing and enjoy it. And
get inspired.
I think people will, get inspired.
And it's special, and we talk about how it's changed and that vehicle. Maybe you can speak a little bit to that, Gavin. You owned the original affiliate in Africa, and that started, if I'm not mistaken, in a really small room of a warehouse. Incredible. And now, we're here at REF CrossFit Josie, the oldest affiliate in Africa, and we've got a beautiful facility, and it's incredible. We're hosting an in-person qualifying event this weekend, which is really cool that it's grown so much. Yeah. Can you talk a little bit to that and how it's got into that? In the beginning, you say there was no equipment. It was,
it's actually quite a difficult picture to paint, because it has happened gradually, and empirically we've kind of developed this whole results-driven type of training, which now is scientific, and in the early days, we had to find videos, and search for movement standards, because there just weren't anything particularly available. And I think that's testament to what CrossFit has delivered to a global audience, is this formula that allows it to standardize movements, which in some instances are very complicated. Think of a snatch, and be able to set it out so that you can actually compete around that. So it's quite a difficult one to answer. But in the early days, as you rightly pointed out, we started off and I think it was about a 9 by 6 meter square room at the back of a warehouse with a lawn outside. Found somebody who welded together a rig for us, and we then tried to fit on the rig. We then had to modify everything about it because movements and new standards kept arriving, and it's been a real journey. I remember trying to do overhead squats for the very first time, and I started doing CrossFit when I was 40. Never having performed these movements before. So it was remarkable. And the speed at which it's happened, in spite of it, getting on for 20 years, is quite something. We do now have a state-of-the-art facility. I do think that events are, world class now. And if spectators turn up and can appreciate what's going on, that'd be fabulous.
Yeah, I think that is the goal of the Renegade Games, has always been to showcase our community, particularly the African community and the athletes that we have in our gyms training with us every day. And I think it's really important that we're doing that, and we give our community something like that. I think it was 2014 was the last regionals in Africa, and then CrossFit moved it, and it was Meridian, and there was a change in the community. There was that urgency to try and qualify and compete and get there went away. And the real hope is that these two brands can bring that feeling back, and this event we want people to be going, we're going to train so hard. We want to qualify. We want to get a team to the REEBOK Rebel Renegade Games. We want to stand on that stage and showcase what we've done and all the hard work we've put in.
Yeah, and bearing in mind that we've expanded this competition this year, not this year. Last year we included the UAE, and we had multiple athletes come from the UAE and compete here and enjoy the event. That's even broader this year. We have international athletes that are eligible now to compete in this event. So I actually think, it's looking damn good.
Yeah, I think it's a good opportunity for some international athletes to come and experience Africa, because I think it's different. If you talk to Sarah and Evie and all the guys who came and have never competed here before, it's wild. It's something really different. The crowd, the atmosphere. We're all South Africans, so it's normal.
Normal.
And they're like, no, it's different, yeah. So I think it's great to give other athletes from around the world an opportunity to experience that, but at the same time, give athletes from Africa an opportunity to showcase what they're capable of and go head to head with some of the best athletes in the world.
Yeah.
And I think that's so important, that our athletes get exposed to a different level of athlete so that we can grow and be better. The Jason Smith days, Jason finished top 10 at the CrossFit Games, and that was in the Meridian days, where everyone had to train really hard because we had to fly to Spain to compete.
Qualify.
And now all we're doing is saying, well, now it's in your backyard, and all of your members from your gym can come and watch you. But yes, it's going to be hard, and we've got to train harder. We've got to be better
hard,
and
yeah.
Raise the level.
Yeah, 100%. What Test cricket is to cricket, CrossFit is to training. I think, like, for me, that's the kind of how it sits in my mind. It's the pinnacle. It's the authenticator.
Brilliant analogy.
Of the training category. And you've got all the fanfare of the shorter versions of the game going on, and the T20 and the lights and the cameras, but CrossFit is the pinnacle for me. And I think for us as a brand moving back into the space is so important to drive our training category forward. So we'll continue to engage with the community, create experiences through guys and partners like yourselves and the Rebel Renegade Games for these athletes, and obviously provide the product so they can perform at their best.
Yeah, it's really cool to see. You've got the Nano Pro that Reebok's just launched now, which is phenomenal piece of footwear. But I think it's and Reebok wasn't born from CrossFit, but I think, when we talk about footwear development and what we're putting on our feet, I feel like it's designed for CrossFit. In the back of the mind,
It's a shoe that was supposed to be banned or something. Yeah, the Nano Pro, that's it, yeah, with the carbon plate.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, nobody's raised the eyebrow yet, but let's see. What is your view on it for the Rebel Renegade Games? I think is the question.
I think if you're going to compete against the best in class and the best in country, then give it a go. Any little bit of advantage is going to help. I like the 1%. Like a lot of hard work takes place, and you've got to do all the basics right.
Yeah.
But a little 1% never hurt. And in the running days, it was like a wrist GPS that was half the size of my arm,
Right.
and cost an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
I had it because
So 1%. The 1%.
the speed and I really
Add up a couple of 1% and it becomes significant. Exactly.
So I do think, I've been training in the Nano Pro, and I'm definitely not elite, but it definitely adds a huge amount of value.
Yeah.
To the point where I trained in pair of normal nanos the one day and had to do up downs, and then I did a few. I was like, yo, something's wrong.
Yeah.
And then I realized, well, I don't have a carbon plate shoving me back forward, so.
But maybe just on the origins of Reebok and where it all kind of started. And it started in the studio, in the aerobic studio, right? With high-waisted leotards and leg warmers. And so we've always been in that training space. And since that day, we've been creating product for the training community. So with the Nano Pro, we were the first to launch a training shoe with a carbon plate. And we've got a lot of competition, yapping and napping and nipping at our ankles. But I think Reebok's always been just one step ahead in the training space. And I think we've managed to create that perception and truth within the training community. So for us, coming back into the space again, and I'm hopping on it, is really, it's almost like coming home. And my hope is that, we forge such a great partnership that's successful, that the rest of the world, the Reebok world, sees this as an example of what's possible. And maybe there's a global CrossFit partnership on the cards again in the future. And to be fair, there has been murmurings and conversations, but nothing's firmed up. But maybe we can lead from this side. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's, and I'm speaking particularly about the African and the South African community. I think it's so exciting this year that we've got a sponsor on board, an apparel sponsor that is based locally and can support the local community.
Yeah.
And that is forever been an issue since Reebok stepped away. There've been a number of partners who've kind of climbed in and stepped on board, and it seems like it's almost a media spin, and this is a good vehicle for us, and let's drive it. But it's never been global. So in South Africa, it's never been supported. Yeah. So I think it's really exciting that we've got a partner on board, and you're local, you're based here. We've got product in store, and people can really experience that brand and immerse themselves in it.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to remember when we talk about this partnership, it's a partnership. We've got the same values, and we are trying to drive the community forward, and that's why we're here. It's not just someone sticking their sticker on something and going, hey, well, we're part of that, and hopefully we get some more sales.
Yeah, it's about authenticity, credibility, and fortunately, we've had a good journey with the community. What is it? 10 years, 12 years, almost?
Must be, yeah.
Yeah, 12 years. And so in that period, the brands managed to forge a real relationship with the community and gain the credibility and the trust of the community when it comes to product and the experiences we create for the community. So let's pick it up again.
Yeah. I'm really excited for what the season holds. We essentially kick it off with the in-person qualifying event, which is something a little bit different we haven't done before, which is going to be really cool. We've got 16 athletes throwing down, kitted out head to toe in Reebok. It's going to be exciting. Some great workouts, and I think that really kicks off the season. and starts to drive this excitement and groundswell that this year is going to be phenomenal. And we're really glad to have two such big brands in the community to back this up and support it and make it possible for the community, because without partnerships like this, we wouldn't have the Renegade Games, we wouldn't have a semi-final event in Africa and those opportunities. So we're really excited.